Hello, 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 this is Systems United. We're playing Halo 2 on Legendary, but this time we're bringing out the big guns. One of the things I like a lot about the Master Chief Collection is they already have all the skulls unlocked. So even though we're playing it on Legendary, it's pretty easy because every bullet from every gun I get is actually firing a scare blast. So it wasn't that bad. Now, Halo 2 was one of the worst games. Not worse because it's like bad, but worse because it was one of the hardest legendaries of all the Halos. I haven't done Halo 4, 5, or Infinite in on Legendary, but from everyone else that I've talked to, um, Halo 4 is pretty easy on Legendary. I haven't heard that much about Halo 5, but at least they're fair. And like Halo Reach, like I was like, yeah, it's hard, but it's fair. Halo 2, like you can land the grenade on an elite and he'll survive, especially in the later levels. I feel like the beginning levels are pretty easy because they're like kind of tutorial. But when I first played this on stream on Twitch, this level took me 2 streams. It took me like maybe 4 hours of me just trying to get off a Cairo station. It was ridiculous. There was this one section where I spent maybe 40 minutes and I had to quit. It wasn't like a rage quit, it was just like, I can't do this anymore. My hands were cramping and sweaty and everything, and I was like, I'm going to give myself a heart attack if I keep going. But that's kind of how Halo 2 on Legendary was. It was just nearly impossible. Um, but yeah, so it's a lot better. Things are different when you have the Scarab. Still die a lot, but so that happens. So we got some news. I'm probably going to release this in January. As of right now, it's December 30th. But my plan for 2023 is just to be more schedule oriented, release things on time. I have a bunch of stuff that's like halfway ready for quotations on that YouTube channel and website. And so what I'm going to be doing is the Master of Art Monthly. It's just called the Master of Art Monthly. Will be coming back. I did it in 16 and I did like 4 issues. So it wasn't so monthly, it was more like quarterly. But I plan to do it monthly. And so for January, what I have planned to come out, it's going to be an ebook on Kindle. What I do on Kindle is I make it as though it's a comic book. So when you tap on each picture, it enlarges and everything. So I really recommend that on the Kindle. And then in addition to that, there's going to be a physical book. I always release a physical book. And so I have all the photographs and everything ready. I just have to do the layout. And the thing I've been struggling with is the writing. There's going to be a little bit more writing than I usually put in the Master of Art series. Again, it's going to be mostly photographs. The series that I'm starting is called The Lost Photographs. So we're going to start off with the lost photographs from Alaska. And so what that is it's photographs I kind of passed over when selecting them for other publications, but they're still good. And so I went back, I looked through everything, and I really focused on finding crisp, sharp photos that didn't need a lot of retouching. So there is almost no color grading. It's just straight out of the camera, kind of. I did adjust 2 things, which is white balance. So it's the correct white balance. 90% of the time I do set the correct white balance. In the camera I do shoot RAW. And one of the advantages of RAW is it records everything the sensor sees. And so then you can set the white balance later because it's not burnt into the image like a JPEG. And so I made sure all of them were set correctly. So when it was daylight, I made sure that the white balance was set to daylight. And a lot of times what people don't realize is light has different color temperatures. And so our eyes are extremely forgiving, and it's kind of incredible. But they will automatically adjust to anything. So if you're in a room that's blue, you stay in there for like 20 minutes and you'll start to see the blue will kind of start to fade away and your eyes will autocorrect. And so like if you're in a room with fluorescence, that's a completely different uh, color temperature than if you're out in a sunny day. Sunny days are warmer. And technically different times of the day are different temperatures. So in the morning it's more blue light, it's cooler temperature, it's cooler color temperature. And then in high noon it's bright white, again on a sunny day. And then in the afternoon, and what everyone really likes is the golden hour. Uh, it's called the golden hour because it's a yellow gold, and it's really the best time to do everything: portraits, landscapes, all that stuff. It's about an hour before sunset, and a lot of filming, like cinema and movie stuff, uh, they will spend 3 or 4 days shooting, one scene because they only have that 1 hour to shoot it in. It takes a lot of setup between takes, and instead of like shooting the same scene all in one day. The change in light actually does make a difference, and you can tell when editing, and it makes it harder to edit if it's not all at the same time during the day. But yeah, so that's coming out. The Alaska photographs are, like I said, they're lightly edited. I don't even edit contrast or tone curves, which I usually do. But like I said, the thing I was focusing on was sharpness, uh, the photos with the best lenses and everything. And so there's significantly more photographs than I had previously released in the Photations collection. And there's over, like, I think it's over 600. So I'm going to be doing the layout and everything. And I'm happy because I finally got the entire Creative Cloud. So now I have InDesign. So that's that. And so switching back over, for the past couple of years I've been having a lot of health problems, but things finally seem to be getting working. I had a CT scanned and I had a blockage in my intestines. So we're trying to fix that. I'm doing like a ton of Miralax and Metamucil, trying to get it cleared out. So I take like 3 doses of Miralax a day, and then it's 3 doses of Metamucil, and this is just things you mix in your drink and everything. And so this is like day 40. I mean, it's not actually day 40. It's somewhere around 40. Um, I started around the 15th of November, and now it's December 30th. So that's about 45 days-ish. I don't remember if November goes to 31. But, so yeah, it's been 45 days of that, and I feel like things are finally moving around. But the big thing, so I'm taking all this Metamucil. They gave me these stimulant pills that are supposed to like activate your intestines and stuff, which I've seen no evidence that actually worked. I've been taking that for a while. But I got this tea, and it's like this herbal tea, and you have to let it steep for actually like 10 minutes, and then you drink it, and oh my goodness, it said like 12 hours later. They mean 12 hours later it starts doing stuff. And so that actually helped out a lot, but I don't think it was just the tea. I think it was a combination of everything, even though it's taken over 45 days to work. So I am feeling better. I'm not in so much pain, especially after I eat. And yeah, just things are getting better. But I still have a long way to go because I'm pretty sure the blockage is still in there. I'm not sure if it's getting any smaller, but I don't think it's completely blocking my GI tract anymore. So that's that. In January, I go back to the doctor, and hopefully we figure out, where to go from there. And it was funny because we had the huge snowstorm on Christmas. Everything was shut down. It right now the death toll is pretty high. There's around like 85 people had died in the snowstorm. So that's terrible. But my sisters and I, some of my sisters live in the same state, but we decided, we're going to postpone Christmas. So we did, and which helped because my mom and I didn't really do any Christmas decorations. But so we had Christmas later. And it was funny because we spent like maybe 6 hours doing some cleaning and stuff and cooking, and then Christmas actually lasted like an hour and a half. And I was like, this is the worst ratio. Everyone should have stayed longer, but it was a ton of fun. And so it was actually really nice. But they wanted to get back before it got dark, and here it gets dark at it starts getting dark at like 4:30. But which is something I'm going to talk about in my next topic. But the good news is my sisters, they got me film. And it's funny because they all got me Ilford 35mm 36 exposure film. And so I have some kind of a large family, and so I have like 15 rolls now. And I was so excited. And the developer I use Sinstill developer, and so I couldn't find the liquid one, and so I said, oh man, I'm gonna get fancy. And so they have it in powder form, which is better for storage. And so I'm actually gonna be mixing the powder. They say you just add water, so that's cool. A lot of times you have to add water at the right temperature, but I ordered 2 packs of that, so that's coming. And I can't wait to start shooting on film. And then I also received 2 color kits, so the 2-bath solution for developing color film. And so I'm like, mwahaha. And so I ordered a bunch of colored medium format, so I'll be doing that as well too. I plan to do a lot of cityscape, specifically looking for street art going around Detroit, Ann Arbor, and places like that, and shooting the colored film for graffiti art, street art, some would say. So that's kind of the plan. And then I've also been getting into astrophotography. So I have this this sky glider. And so with astrophotography, it's actually more difficult than you think. Because it's so dark, you have to have your camera take a picture for like the exposure for like 5, 10, and sometimes, you want it for 30 seconds. Except the Earth is rotating. And so you think, oh, it's rotating so slowly. It's actually not rotating that slowly. So if you're taking like a 10-second photo, the sky actually rotates enough to where the stars will start streaking. Because, the Earth's rotating, so the stars are moving at night. And so you can't really take that long of a photo and get crisp, circular stars without the star trails. And so they have this device, an I can't say it. It's equatorial mount. And so what you do is you aim it at Polaris if you're in another northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you aim it at I think it's like Cygnus something, but it's the South Star, which is also incredible that we happen to have a star that's like pretty close to north and a star that's pretty close to pointing south. Now you point it at that, and then it has these 2 arms that rotate at the exact speed of the Earth, and so it matches the star's rotation. And so with that, and it's a pretty simple setup. It takes you can take photos for 10, 15, 20 seconds, and then there's an adapter that makes it even more exact, so you can do 5-minute exposures. And so because it's rotating and following the stars, uh, it actually you can get really crisp. They call it deep space photography, where you can get nebulas and everything. And so I'm super happy with that. I think there's a sky tracker, I think, but I got the glider because it can hold a heavier camera. And then what I actually do is it can hold two cameras at the same time. So I released a video on my photations on Twitter and Instagram, showing the photos that I was able to take. And so I'm taking 2 photos at a time, and it was about 10 seconds each exposure, and the quality of the stars and everything was so much superb. And so I do a lot of thrifting, and so about a year or 2 years ago, I got a telescope for $40, and it's a 1,100 millimeter with an aperture of 135. And so I did the math recently, and that's about it's like 55 uh, times enlargement of the sky, and so it's Newtonian telescope. So it's the longer one that has the mirror, and you look at the mirror piece, the eyepiece, and it goes to the mirror, and then it collects the light. And one of the things that was funny when I was doing all the research recently on how to fix it, like there's this thing called culmination when you align the mirrors properly. And so I was taking moon photos, but I had these issues where the side would be really dark and whatnot. So I fixed it. And I mean, like, it was way out of whack. The mirrors weren't aligned at all. And it was like such an easy fix. Like, I never knew about culmination. And so it took me maybe 15 minutes for my first time to align all the mirrors. And so yeah, so that was what I've done. So I'm really focusing on doing more astrophotography and everything, and so I'm fixing things up. But the unfortunate thing is that for like there was one day in December where you could see the stars in Michigan, and it's just been cloud after cloud after cloud. I usually like to take star photos in winter, because one, it keeps the cameras cool. So the longer you do the exposure, the the more noisy the camera gets because it gets hotter. But what was I saying? So it's nicer in winter, and the other thing is the humidity is less, and so the stars are even more crisp and everything. But I want to thank you for coming out to this Let's Play of Halo 2 with the big guns. I'll see you next week. I plan on releasing these on Twitter and YouTube. The YouTube's gonna have a shorter edition, but yeah, should be coming out Mondays. So thank you for coming by. See you later. Bye bye. Thanks for watching this Thumbs United video. You can help support Thumbs United and our sister sites if you visit photationsdonations.com, where you can donate. You can donate crypto. You can donate from our Amazon wish list. There's all kinds of ways you can support, and that doesn't only support Thumbs United, but it supports our art education series and a whole lot more. So if you'd like to help out, visit photationsdonations.com. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.